This channel is for educational purposes only. Make sure you do your own due diligence before making any investments. And there is inherent risk in trading, so it's speculative. Just make sure you keep that in mind. Hi, this is Joe. I'm going to do a quick update on the S&P and the QQQ today. Also, just wanted to give you a reminder. For the most part, all the videos that I post are on Tuesdays and Friday mornings. And we are going to have a few over the course of the next month or two. Just kind of be on the lookout for some extra content. I'm going to have something on Sunday that's going to give you a lot of insight into the ADX indicator. It sort of takes some of the best stuff that I put out over the course of the last year and puts it together, I think, in a nice framework. So tune into that when you get an opportunity this weekend. Also just want to make sure you are aware that, if you want to see that type of stuff or this type of material, please hit the subscribe button and hit the bell so that you get notifications as well as to when there's something new coming out, just in case I'm adding something different. For the most part, again, it's going to be on every Tuesday and every Friday morning. Let's go straight into the S&P to start. And just to give you a quick update on the conditions for the market, we're at a point now where the sentiment continues to kind of linger up into that 45, 46% area. And that means that the investors' intelligence sentiment numbers based on the number of bulls minus the number of bears is at 45%. That means there's a lot more bulls than bears right now. And it's typically in a little bit more of a dangerous position when it's in the 40s. And if it happens to get up towards 50, that's pretty rare, and it's usually pretty dangerous. So we do want to be a little bit more cautious about putting money away from a longer term standpoint. So you just want to be aware of that. Let's look at the monthly chart real quick. Not a big significant change from last week. We still have decent momentum. ADX is not confirming. MACD looks fine. The overall chart pattern looks good. I think, we had good month last month and we're getting a little follow through. We probably have set ourselves up again for some type of a pullback as we start into the new year. Just the fact that, this last pullback didn't actually fill this little gap over the course of the month. And so I just wouldn't be surprised if we followed through into the end of the year and then got some kind of a pullback. Still, the conditions are okay on the weekly chart. The weekly chart is still, I would say, the one that when I look at it from a trend standpoint, as well as a momentum condition standpoint, it's in the best position right now. And so that means, 3,500, which is the 18-week line, is probably pretty important, because if we're going to maintain an uptrend for the market and maintain this strong characteristics in this time frame, then I would assume that the 18-week is going to continue to hold like it has in recent weeks. The daily chart is still continuing to do this lingering pattern where it keeps kind of pushing. Even though it had the bad day, it really didn't have any follow through. It keeps kind of drifting higher, and we don't have any momentum right now. So that to me is sort of the key. I think we're either going to need to see some strength develop here, or this is setting itself up again for some type of correction after we make it through the holiday season. Nothing new on the hourly. It's really just a sideways pattern. There's not a lot of momentum in place. It tried to move higher and then it tried to move lower, but in reality, it's still, I would consider to be more like a sideways pattern. If we look at the Qs, and start with the monthly, same pattern. Everything's pretty much similar, although in this time frame, I do like the position of the ADX a little bit better. And this did actually come down and fill the gap a little bit better than the S&P did. But, in both of these indexes, it's pretty similar. And again, I would consider to be the weekly chart still to have the highest really trend and momentum conditions that I consider to be the strongest right now. And even though the MACD has not gone up to confirm yet, I think the overall position of this chart and the way that it respected the 18-week on both pullbacks, I think is pretty constructive, especially when you look at what's happening on the daily chart, because this is making higher highs and higher lows. But again, MACD is not confirming and definitely not seeing any real confirmation on the ADX. It's been low for quite a while now, really since this bottom back here. And we've made higher highs and higher lows, but we're really just not getting any kind of significant movement on the daily ADX. No change for the hourly on the Qs. Again, sort of a sideways pattern. I would consider this to be maybe a little bit stronger than the S&P, but reality is, not a big significant difference. We are about 72 on the RSI. If you look at the weekly chart for the QQQ, and we're around 70, 71 for the RSI on the weekly S&P. So, when you look at the conditions, it's still not bad. I mean, I think what's bothering me is that it continues to move higher, and it doesn't really have any immediate momentum. And I think, again, that we're going to deal with some resistance and some type of reversal pattern, I think, as we flip over into 2021. The interesting thing is there really hasn't been any change in the volatility at all. The S&P continues to show very low volatility when it comes to the ATR. So this is sort of a drift pattern. I think we're going to have to see some expansion in volatility before we're going to see any kind of a big reversal in price. But we could certainly check back, and we've done that a few times even without any volatility. So anyway, that's the update for the week. Make sure you have a safe and happy holidays, and we'll talk to you next week. Thanks.